Hello everybody, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today is Friday and I'm finally able to film a Friday Reads on an actual Friday. Last couple of times it didn't work out so well, so I hope you're all doing good. It's a rainy day here, so I hope you have some sunshine wherever you are. And yeah, so considering it's Friday, I hope to get a lot of reading this weekend. During the week I have a lot of travel, so I'll have to see. But yeah, let me just get right into it. I'll give you a little recap of some of the books that I finished the last couple of weeks. So in terms of what I already finished, and I spoke about this book in my last video, but we did finish it, and that was The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. This was a buddy read that I did with Candace over at Beacon Hill Books and Sean of On the Stoop, and it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. This book is a science fiction book, but it's also a historical retelling. So this book takes place in the 1950s, and it's about like the space race, and it's about the civil rights movement and all of the things that took place in the 1950s and 60s. So we follow a couple, Elma and Nate, and at the beginning of the book an asteroid hits the Earth, and this is the kind of asteroid that happened during the reign of the dinosaurs. It's an extinction event. So basically when this asteroid first hits in the beginning of the book, it wiped out a good portion of the states, especially all of the states along all of the coastlines of the world. And over the years, it will start a series of environmental effects that will basically wipe out the human race and all living things. So this book kind of accelerates the space race. It starts out in the 1950s, and it follows like a 10-year period after the asteroid hit, and basically it follows that story and trying not only to get into space, not only to land on the moon, but also to, in the hope of colonizing the moon, to save the human race. And yeah, it's a really good book. It has a lot to do with civil rights. Obviously the space race, Elma is a mathematician, so it follows those women that were featured in the movie of Hidden Figures, that really were, the computer brains behind that first, launch to the moon. And yeah, it's just a really good book. It's really fast paced. It's a really easy read. And I really do recommend it if you like historical fiction, if you like a little bit of science fiction with it. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was an easy, quick, fun read, and I didn't find it hard to get through at all. So the next two books that I finished were the second and third book in the Queen of the Tearling series. So this is the first book, and I said that I had wanted to go on to Invasion of the Tearling, which is the second book, and I did go on to that, and I did finish the third as well, which is The Fate of the Tearling. Now, I really loved this first book, The Queen of the Tearling. It's my favorite of the entire trilogy. It's not that I thought the trilogy was bad, it's just I really didn't like where it went, and I didn't really like how it ended. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to mention any specifics of the second or third book, just to say that I didn't really like it. I wish I had gone in a different direction. But this is a fantasy series following a young girl by the name of Kelsey, and she is, in the beginning of the first book, this book, she finds out, she's grown up in this remote village, and she was sort of hidden away as a baby because she is the fated queen of the Tearling, and on her 19th birthday, they come for her. The Queen's Guard comes for her to bring her into the Tearling to take her rightful place on the throne. There's a lot has gone on in the past 19 years. In her place, her uncle had ruled as regent, and he was a really ruthless, kind of horrible ruler in her place. And she finds out basically that there are a lot of inhumane conditions in her realm, and there is also this queen, the Red Queen, that is ruling over the neighboring country, kind of. And she is also really ruthless, and she has to deal with that as well. They're on the verge of war. So like I said, I really connected with the first book. I liked the second, but I just thought it just didn't pan out well. It just dwindled in quality as it went on. But that's not to say I gave it 3 stars overall. I think that's a fair assessment, which means it was just a good book. It was just okay. This first book, though, I think I rated it either a 4 or 5. I really loved it. So those were the 3 books that I finished. Now the first book that I am going to be continuing on this week, and that is the same audiobook that I mentioned last time, and that is City of Brass. So I just had to look up the author because I forgot, but it's by S.A. Chakraborty. So the City of Brass is the first book in a fantasy trilogy. It follows a young girl named Nari. Nari has never believed in magic, and she's sort of a healer, and she unknowingly, in the beginning of the first book, summons this mythological creature. It's a djinn, and this creature is a creature of fire, and this unravels a whole series of events and adventures, and she finds out that she is, this is the very beginning of the book, that she's connected somehow to these mythical creatures and to this fated legendary city, which is the City of Brass. So it really is a lot of fun. I'm about halfway through. I know it's a really slow going, but it is an audiobook, and it's a really long audiobook. And I hope to get a good chunk of it done this week, actually, because through my travels, I will have a lot of downtime while traveling that I'll get to listen to the audiobook. So maybe I'll even finish it this week. But I'm really enjoying it. I really love the character of Nari. I really think it's not a hard read at all. It goes pretty quickly for an audiobook. I think if I was reading this in the physical form, I would have finished it no problem by now. But yeah, it's really good, really enjoyable, and I can't wait to tell you more about it once I finish it. So the next book that I hope to get to this week, and I should be able to get a lot of reading done this weekend, is The Winter Witch, which is the 3rd book in the Bear and the Nightingale series. So this is the first book right here. I'm reading the 3rd book on ebook. So the 3rd book is called The Winter Witch. So this first book, The Bear and the Nightingale, it follows, or the trilogy, follows a girl by the name of Vasya. And when the first book starts, she's a little girl, but she ages as the trilogy goes on. And she has a connection to magic. She is able to see some mythological creatures, magical creatures, and she's also able to sort of to prevent them from harming humankind. So this book mixes kind of fantasy with Russian folklore, and it's really good. It's really fast-paced, in my opinion at least. It's really good. It's really fast-paced, and I cannot wait to get to the 3rd book, but this 3rd book came out like the beginning of the year, and I feel like everyone read it already that I know. But yeah, I can't wait to get to that 3rd book, and I hope to start it this weekend and maybe even finish it this week. So we'll have to see if that happens, but yeah, I'm really excited about that. So the next book that I want to start, I don't know if I'll finish it this week, is The Rose Garden by Susanna Kearsley. Susanna Kearsley is a really, really popular author, but I've never read anything by her, and I purchased this book in anticipation of it ticking off one of the categories in the Reading Through the Ages Challenge, which is a historical fiction challenge that goes throughout the whole year, that was created by Mel of Mel's Bookland Adventures. It has a bingo card and categories and everything, and I've been really doing really good so far, even though it's only May. And this book will tick off another category. And this is historical fiction, but it's also a bit of a romance. And it says, Eva Ward returns to the only place she truly belongs, the old house on the Cornish coast, seeking happiness in memories of childhood summers. There she finds mysterious voices and hidden pathways that sweep her not only into the past, but also into the arms of the man that is not of her time. Kind of gives you Outlander vibes, I don't know. But yeah, I cannot wait to get to this. I've heard really good things about this author, and it seems like a book that is right up my alley. So it says, yeah, for those that will love this book, are fans of Gabaldon, Du Maurier, and Niffenegger. I don't know that author, Niffenegger. But yeah, so it's about, coming together, I think. So I'm really excited to get to this one. And like I said, I don't know if I'll finish it because it is a pretty thick book and I have limited time this week to read. But I will at least have started it. So that is basically it. That is everything that I finished, everything that I'm currently reading. And we'll see how I do at the end of this week. But I hope you all have a good weekend. I hope you all have some fun planned. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day with your moms or whoever means the most to you. Anyway, I will speak to you all very, very soon.